to be a Pokemon master?
What's up YouTube? It's your boy Shiver. So, going along with the theory that I had yesterday, I decided to put it to the test. Now, with this test, I'm only using my 2 level 100 Blastoise, and I'll be putting the damage up against a couple different Pokemon to see what kind of, differences we're going to get with the different IVs. Now, I want to give a big shout out to King, and sorry buddy if I said that wrong. I'm terrible with names, so if I did, I apologize. Let me know. I'll try to fix it for the next video. But, huge thanks to him. He's the one controlling the, punching bag, so to speak, and letting me test this and helping me out with it. So, huge thanks to him. But first off, we're going to start with my 5 IV Blastoise and see what kind of damage it does to the Mewtwo. Then we'll switch to the 23 IV Blastoise and see what kind of damage it does. Now this is a recording of a recording because I didn't want to waste too much of his time trying to get all the recording stuff right. So I figured, I'd just record the damage and then do, a voiceover later. So, excuse the bad editing. I'm not that good at editing yet. I'm still working with a free editor that is not as user friendly as some of the paid ones, so still trying to get used to that. But all things aside, let's get into it. We'll hit play and bring out my Blastoise. I'm gonna go up and just do a water pulse on the Mewtwo and see what kind of damage it does. So right here, we'll pause it. Dropped it down to 1092 health. So, that's pretty good for a direct water pulse. But, we'll get to the next one and see what kind of damage it does. Okay, so here's my 23 IV Blastoise. And, let's see what he can do. Walk up, throw out a water pulse. Drops it down to 900. We'll pause it here and talk about it. So, 5 IV, dropping it down to 1092. The 23 IV, dropping it down to 900. Now, that's 192 damage difference. For that big of a gap in IVs, that's a pretty small difference considering the source. Because you got to think, water pulse, how it does its damage is based on each one of those little pulses hitting. If one pulse hit, it does not do its total damage. For total damage to happen, every single pulse has to hit. And you also have to remember that Blastoise's cannons each fire one, so you technically have to divide the damage in half. So of that 192, each side is doing half of that, and then each pulse is doing a percentage of that. I'm not quite sure how many pulses there are. I haven't taken the time to count them, but you gotta consider all of these things. So that 192, I mean, it's not a big deal. You can argue that every little bit counts, but at the same time, it's 192 divided by how many pulses you actually hit with. So the damage you're missing, it's very, very minuscule. Now let's see what happens on this next Pokemon. Okay, so this next one, the Venusaur, it was really interesting, and we'll get over that a little bit later in the video after we see a couple more examples, probably close to the end. But we'll start off with the 5 IV Blastoise. So it's gonna go, and I believe it drops it down to 2784. Yep. And here we have the 23 IV. It's gonna go up and drop it down to 2700, and pause that, or try to pause it. Not on my A game tonight, sorry about that. Okay, let's pause it. 2700 12. Now that is a 72 damage difference. I mean, that's even smaller than the last difference. And I'm guessing it's Blastoise, or Venusaur, I'm sorry. It's a grass type, so you have a water resistance. It's pretty special defensive, bulky. So it's going to be able to take a hit pretty good from a water pulse. But the reason I say it's so interesting is another Pokemon we use is Blossom, and you'll see what happens to her, which throws everything that both Quaisking and I thought the reasonings behind everything was out the window. But let's get to the next Pokemon. Okay, here we have a Blastoise versus Blastoise. So shouldn't do a lot of damage, but you know, we're still trying to compare damage. Alright, pause it there. So drops it down to 6,065 from 6,855. So, you know, little under 800 damage. Pretty good. But let's see what it does on, you know, with my next Blastoise. So here's my 23 special attack Blastoise. Pretty sure I had some mega lag on this, so the damage that shows on my screen is not accurate whatsoever, as you'll see in a second. But Quaisking had PM'd me the damage that it did, so we were able to compare from that. Even with my extreme lag, I was trying to upload a video onto YouTube, so I got some crazy lag. Here it is, we'll pause it. So with this one, it dropped to 5,871. Now that's about 1,000 damage. So that difference is around, you know, 200, close to where the Mewtwo difference was. But like I said, that is a direct water pulse, each pulse hitting. So in a realistic PvP standpoint, each water pulse is not going to hit. So the damage that you're losing is much smaller than, you know, that around 200 damage. So, you know, when you're paying for these high IV Pokemon, what are you really paying for? So here we have the Blossom, which, you know, threw us for a complete loop in, you know, what kind of damage these IVs difference made. It is a grass type, so it should resist, but the water pulse did a lot of damage. Now, way more than it did to the Venusaur, and Blossom is also a fairly special defensive tank, so it really should not have done that much damage. But, you know, let's get on to the other Blastoise and see what he does. Okay, so here we have the 23 special attacker, and so this one, it geeked out again. I think I recorded, or not recorded in video, but wrote down the difference. With this one, he had PM'd me saying that it dropped it to 2,223. Now that's around a right under a 400 damage difference compared to the last one that it dropped to 2,615. So, you know, that's a big difference. We were expecting a much smaller damage difference like we saw in the Venusaur at 72 difference, but with a Blossom who is a straight grass type with should have a resistance to water, took a lot more damage. I know on the screen it shows a lot more than that, but like I said, I was lagging out trying to upload a video and no idea how this even happened. I got DC'd multiple times during the filming of all these, but I have one more example for y'all, that being against the Snorlax, because Snorlax's stats, he is another special defense tank. So just, you know, if you play competitive Pokemon, just, you know, kind of remember that Snorlax is a special defense tank and really bulky. Might help you out some way or another. But for us, I figured since we're attacking with the special defense, we'll kind of counter it with a special defense tank and, you know, see how it went. But let's get this playing. This is my 5 IV special attacker. Now with him, drops it down to, pause it real quick. Oh, I missed it. Go back. Right there. Drops it down to 3,228. So that's fairly good chunk amount of health. And, you know, it has a much higher, I say much, but it's really not. It's around, you know, 17 special defense stats above the Blossom. So, but it's almost even with Venusaur. I mean, it's off by 4 stat points. So I mean, that kind of difference is, you know, crazy, not counting the resistance that Venusaur should have to water. But let's see what our other special attacker can do. Alright, here we go with the 23 special attacker Blastoise. And we're gonna hit it with the water pulse. It's going to drop it to 3072. Now that's another right under 200 damage difference. So, you know, 3 out of 5 is right under 200 damage difference. That was kind of consistent, but then having Venusaur at 72 damage difference and Blossom at, you know, close to 400 damage difference, that's what completely threw us for a loop. And honestly, the only explanation that I can think of is whenever you fire a water pulse, it's complete RNG, which I really doubt Sam is gonna add that to the game that way. It doesn't make a lot of sense to do that, but we are completely stumped. So if y'all have any comments, anything that you could do to help, you know, let us know, let me know, post it in the comments below, and, you know, I'd appreciate it a ton to try to get this figured out so we can start really getting a competitive scene going in this game. We trying to do it now with the weekly tournaments, even though they have been canceled for the Halloween event. It's over in, you know, depending on when you watch this, 2 days from the time I'm filming this, maybe 1 day from the time I post it, but not sure on that yet. Once the Halloween event is over, we will continue with the tournaments. We hold them at level 30 max, level 50 max, and level 100 max. So there is something for everybody. It's posted on pmmop.com, so go check that out. I'll leave a link in the description. And I mean, come join us. There's a level for everybody. I mean, level 30, you can go out and catch level 30s and compete. That's what I did, and I've won the last 3 that we held. And there's, you know, no cheating, no nothing like that. I record it, I try to make videos of it and post it. I've only been able to do 1 so far, but, you know, I'll try to get back on that, depending on how well y'all like it. It is my most viewed video. I'm guessing y'all kind of like it, but there's no comment saying, hey, you know, awesome video on that, so I'm not real sure. Other than that, guys, I'm gonna go chill out, and y'all stay awesome.